Washington Times front page for Wednesday, March 1st, 2023. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. The District of Columbia's overhaul of its criminal code suffered a major blow as Congress's effort to rescind the changes picked up key Democratic support in the Senate. Tom Howe reports West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin has come out against the legislation, which would weaken penalties for some offenses. The effort to block the overhaul passed the Republican-led House in February with support from more than 30 Democrats. Now, with Manchin's support, the issue could be able to be blocked in the Senate. The issue is a delicate one for Democrats, who are often accused of being soft on crime, but tend to defend D.C. from Republican meddling in local affairs. The Constitution lets Congress have the final say over D.C. legislation during a review period. The Conservative Club for Growth is staging a private event that will rival the Conservative Political Action Conference happening at the same time. Susan Ferricchio reports the club's annual retreat for donors begins Thursday at the Breakers Hotel in Palm Beach, Florida, and the list of attendees includes more potential 2024 GOP hopefuls than the CPAC roster. In addition to prospective presidential candidates, about 100 significant donors plan to attend the club's event, according to a source. The Club for Growth, a group that advocates for low taxes and limited government, once backed former President Trump enthusiastically, but is now looking for a new Republican candidate to support in the 2024 presidential race. Supreme Court justices have expressed skepticism over President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, with the court's Republican-appointed members raising questions about fairness. Alex Schroyer and Stephen Dinan report justices have honed in on what's known as the major questions doctrine. That's a philosophy when courts are skeptical of unilateral action by the executive branch on issues that have been debated by Congress. The outcome of the case could shape how courts approach other exercises of executive power at a time when presidents are looking for ways to act without getting Congress on board. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find the entire lineup of Washington Times podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. The Chinese Foreign Ministry and state-controlled news outlets have dramatically ramped up efforts in recent months to echo Russian propaganda about the Ukraine war and promote anti-American narratives. Guy Taylor reports analysts say it's a defining characteristic of current relations between the nations, with China and Russia moving into full rhetorical alignment against the United States. An example, a special Chinese Foreign Ministry report last week blamed the U.S. and NATO for provoking Russia's invasion of Ukraine last year. The State Department calls such claims propaganda that reflect an increasingly visceral effort by China to shape the debate in a widening global information war. The Department of Commerce approved sales of sensitive U.S. technology to China worth $23 billion during a 6-month period last year. Bill Gertz reports that's despite an announced policy by the Biden administration to prevent American know-how from being used to bolster the Chinese military. The sales came up during a House Foreign Affairs Committee hearing this week. It's likely a sign of things to come for the Biden administration over the next 2 years as it faces a bipartisan push on Capitol Hill to take a tougher line toward China. And finally, the arrest of former FBI counterintelligence official Charles McGonigal has touched off a slew of conspiracy theories that he sabotaged the Bureau's Trump-Russia collusion investigation. Jeff Murdoch reports McGonigal played a role in the FBI's investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election and suspected ties to the Trump campaign. Now he faces criminal charges that he colluded with Russia himself. The conspiracy theory gained traction among Democrats after McGonigal was criminally charged last month. He's accused of illegally taking money from a former Albanian intelligence official and a Russian oligarch who has been sanctioned by the United States. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.